Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at the season challenges for the Skilled Marksman Battle Pass. Now, a lot of these challenges are very simple, so I'm going to slightly change up the format of how we're going to do this. There'll still be timestamps for each of the challenges, but for the very obvious ones, won't really talk too much about them. Starting with the first one, which is Skeet Shooting, where you have to destroy or assist for 150 vehicle destructions. Obviously, this is very easy, so you just play the game. The other thing is, remember to use rank 3 or above vehicles to be able to get these challenges done, and then you'll be fine to go. Right on Target is the next one, where you have to get 10,000 mission score while playing tank destroyers. There are plenty of tank destroyers in the game that are fantastic. Every nation pretty much has them nowadays, so this really shouldn't be too hard to do. Some of the picks that I would go for personally, the Jagd Tiger is pretty fun right now, especially with the elephant, and the Jagd Panther that you can run with it. Things such as the good old M36 are always a joy to play, or the 4.0 Italian lineup with the Semavente 9053, and also friends like the Breda, which even though it went up in BR, is very fun. Dash to victory, you just have to get a destruction and a win against the enemy 35 times. Once again, not that hard to do, just play doing your dailies and specials, you'll get it done. Take the Pedestal is the next one, where you have to play a specified number of battles while being in the top 3 of your team. So you need 15 battles. You don't have to get the wins, so you just have to be in top 3. So this is comfort lineup time. Pick a lineup that you really enjoy and go with. I would probably go for 4.0 USSR specifically with the T-34s, because even though they're at rank 2, you can run the I-185 and also the LA-5, which are rank 3, and you can bump it up. If you have some of the other vehicles, you can bring those along too, such as some of the premiums, which are super fun. But yeah, that's what I would do, and I would carry from the air with the LA or the I-185. Close combat is the next one. Destroy a specified number of player vehicles at a distance of less than 50 meters. You have to destroy 10 vehicles. What I would do here is I would get a very rapid vehicle that can fly around in kind of mid-tier arcade and just get close to enemies and just hammer them with guns. You could do it with some autocannon machines, or you could do it with some other things. I feel like this one is one of those which might be one which you will play for like 2 weeks, because all of these Battle Pass challenges, they take place over 3-week periods. So what you should do is you should play normally for 3 weeks, and then, play normally for 2 weeks, see how many you get, and then in that 3rd week, then you could start actually focusing on getting it done. So don't get too worried about it. 50 meters is obviously not a great distance to destroy stuff with, but there are a lot of maps where you'll be very close quarters in ground, and I would highly recommend doing this in ground, because the other game modes, it's going to be hard to sort it out right. It's going to be hard to get that close to enemies. But yeah, mid-tier, autocannons, or stuff like the Hellcat, for example, incredibly fast vehicles, get around the flank, get close to vehicles, and smash them in the side. Play high is the next one. Destroy a specified number of player vehicles using each specified weapon. So aerial bomb, rockets, or AGM. So basically 10 vehicles destroyed with bombs, and also rockets and AGMs. So what this means is 10 destructions with bombs, and then 10 destructions with rockets or AGMs. So you can use either rockets or AGMs for the second part. It isn't 3 specific things that you need to do. It's only 2 specific things that you need to do. So that isn't as hard. Obviously, with bombs, there are many mid-tier vehicles that are very good for this. A lot in the American tech tree, but also in others. Stuff with the 1,000-pounders will always do very well. The Tu-2 is also a favored son when it comes to stuff like this. Typhoon even, or the Tempest with their 1,000-pounders. When it comes to rockets, once again, mid-tier is a good place because there's a lot of open-top vehicles. And since there's a lot of open-top vehicles, which specifically are AA, so like Oswins, Whirlwinds, stuff like the BTR-ZD, you can actually just ramp up with high explosive rockets and then just toss them at the enemy, and it will overpressure them even if it goes near them. So you just specifically target vehicles which have access to open crew compartments. You could also do it the harder way and use something like the F4U7, for example, with all of its rockets, and do it like that with, I think it's 6.3 France nowadays. But I would just say targeting AAs, which are open-topped with stuff like HVARs, will be easier to do. Long Spear's the next one. Destroy the specified number of player vehicles using a torpedo. Literally just play the Shimakaze, or play any of the Japanese destroyers with their long lances in arcade. They reload and they have a 20-kilometer distance. They're very fast. Create a spread around the spawn and also general areas where people go, and just lay them out and create a wave, so even if somebody wants to dodge them, they can't. That's basically what you do with the Shimakaze and also friends. The Shimmy is the best for this, but there are, obviously other options, but just play anything with long lances. You'll have a very easy time getting that one done. Shooting in Akimbo style is receive a specified number of mission points where vehicles of the current season of the Battle Pass were used, so 20,000 mission score. Unfortunately, because there's only 2 vehicles, you're going to have to either use the level 75 Sholef if you have got to that point when this one comes out, or the PBM-5A Mariner. So you might have to run the Mariner with this, which is the free one. I would recommend running it in ground or running it in naval and clicking on it to spawn, but you don't have to spawn in it. If you run it in air, it's going to be really boring to play this for 20,000 mission score. You're going to be sat there for a day or two, bombing bases and getting shot down. I think it's better just to run it as a secondary in a ground lineup. The next one is territory control, where you have to win a match and destroy at least one of the vehicle and capture a point. You have to do this 10 times, so 10 battles over a 3-week period. This should really not be that hard. So if you are a person who doesn't cap points, at the start of a battle, there's a lot of battles which have what is classed as like a home point, one that's closer to you. Just go cap that, and it'll give you mission score, and after that, you'll have an opportunity to be able to take somebody out. Doing this 10 times over 3 weeks should be very, very easy, and also just make sure you play ground. Use something like a Hellcat or use a mobile vehicle that can get an easy cap, and then just go from there. The issue is the win part. Winning is a little bit harder, but, if you are capping a zone and if you are going after player kills, you are doing the 2 things that should be maximized to win battles. Shooting techniques is always interesting too. Play the specified number of missions and vehicles of the specified number of nations. So you need to play 5 missions each in 6 different nations. So you need 6 different nations at rank 3. That's basically what this says. Once you get them at rank 3, you'll be able to grind out those 5 missions. So yeah, just make sure to... This is not a seasonal challenge, by the way. This is a dated challenge. Usually these are seasonal challenges. So you have a 3-week period to play 6 different nations with 5 missions each. Now they are going to bring in soon that reward setup, so it'll be easier to grind out other nations than the main one that you play. But you need to start planning for this one now. Because if you don't plan for this one now, you're going to get to it and you're going to have to hard grind certain nations to get them to rank 3. It's better in the long run for you to get 5 or 6 or even all of the nations to rank 3. So when these types of missions come around, you can do them without sweating. The next one is Air Gunner. Destroy a specified number of player vehicles of each military branch while using a bomber. So 5 vehicles of aircraft, ground, and also vessel. So ground and vessel shouldn't be too hard because, you can just do what you've been doing previously. PE-8 is always a fun one in ground and also naval, but also many other ones, the Lancaster, if you really want to nuke somebody. But you can also use some different ones like the Tu-2, for example, which has 3 1,000 kilo bombs. That one works very well too. When it comes to aircraft, this one's a little bit tougher. The one I would go for here is the SPT-C5. So this one in the French tech tree is at 3.7 and it's rank 3 and it's a bomber, but you can play it as a fighter. It has access to 220s, 20mm and 450 cals, and you can go after people if you want to and just annihilate them. So that would be my choice. Play a few rounds of Air Arcade or Air Realistic, and you'll be able to get the kills no problem with the SPT-C5. Just make sure it's the French one, because the French one is, of course, the rank 3 one. The American one is at rank 2 now, which kind of sucks for it. We also have Aggressive Sniper. This is the first of the seasonal Battle Pass changes, so challenges, sorry. So not one which is timed. Destroy 3 player vehicles without losing your own while driving a tank destroyer a specified number of times. So you have to be playing a tank destroyer for this. This is one that I think you should dedicate some time to for a day. Just get it done. You can actually grind it out with another challenge, for example, such as the one where you're doing like top 3s in your team, or, you know, the one where you have to, you know, get mission score with the Battle Pass vehicles if you have the Sholaf researched. But this is something you should just power grind and get out the way and use whatever comfortable tank destroyer you want. Whether it's the Panzer 470, which is comfortable, whether it's something like the Breda, which is comfortable, or even things like the higher BR ones, which are nicer. But usually it's better to use lower BR ones, such as even like the ASU 57, for example, which will just be more relaxing than some of the other ones around. Or the Slugger. I really enjoy the Slugger. The Slugger is the M36. Then you have Professional, receiving a specified number of streaks of 15 awards of Professional. So the way that you get a Professional is by getting I think it's like 4 destructions in a game. So basically what you have to do with it is pretty simple. You have to just destroy X amount of people in the battle, and what that'll do is it will trigger 1 professional, and then if you get another kill after that, you'll get another professional on top of it. So you can actually get multiple professionals over and over and over again. Basically it says reward for destroying 5 vehicles in a single life. Each kill after the 5th rewards the player with another professional award. So therefore, if you get 7 kills without dying, the player would get 3 professional awards. So you basically need to destroy 5 vehicles without dying, and then everyone after that you get another professional. So if you end up with like 10 kills or something without dying, that would count as 5 professional awards. So I wouldn't be too worried about this one. If you're doing the other challenges and you aren't just playing something like Realistic, then you should be completely fine. Everything should, you know, work pretty well with it. If you play Ground Arcade, Air Arcade, or Ground Realistic, or even Naval, you should be able to do this without too much of a sweat. The next one is Variety of Calibers. Destroy a specified number of player vehicles using ground vehicle main weapons of various calibers. So less than 35, 35 to 60, from 60 to 90, from 90 to 120, greater than 120. So you have to get 10. You have to do 10 vehicles each for this one. So this one requires a bit of planning because, you know, there are vehicles which don't have as many of these calibers. So less than 35, you're looking at a lot of 30mm autocannons, or you're looking at 25mm. So stuff like the Dardo, for example, or the new Desert Warrior that came in. You could also use, you know, AAs for this. So there's a lot of AAs with 30mm or lower in the mid-tiers that you can use. It doesn't say that you have to destroy only ground vehicles. You can also destroy air vehicles, so AAs would work for that. 35 to 60mm. This is the kind of awkward one, but there's a decent chunk nowadays of 40mm slammers. So stuffs like the STRF 9040, for example, or the CV90 35, and all of those types of vehicles. You also have many 57mm around the place, whether it's the T-34s or stuff like the Cromwells, which I think are rank 2, but if you bump them up to rank 3 with a vehicle, I think it also should count. So that is also something to look for. 60 to 90 is the most common for most vehicles in the mid-tiers. You know, you have a lot of 88mm, 76mm, 75mm, even 90mm, so that shouldn't be a problem. 90 to 120mm also shouldn't be an issue, because that's most of the stuff from rank 4 to 5. The 105mm, for example, the L7s or the M68s, Those are, you know, a dime a dozen in the game nowadays, and also all of the Soviet stuff as well. The 115mm, for example, or the 100mm. So that should be easy. Greater than 120s, a bit of a pain, but there are, you know, vehicles around there to do it. Some 152mm hammers, so howitzer vehicles would be fantastic for this. The FE4005 is always fun when trying to get this one done. So yeah, there's plenty of options for those two. I would probably stick to the SBHs for that one, just because, you know, they're guaranteed to be over the caliber. Then the last one is for excellent shooting. Complete all the season's challenges, where there's 14. So that's just a bonus, basically 4.5 levels. Each one of these challenges gives you 30 points to the battle pass, so 3 levels. And yeah, it's important to do these if you want to get some of the major rewards. And since this time they're super easy to do, there really is not a hard one here. Like even the ones which are a little bit more difficult are really not. So these should be very simple to get through, and you should really do most of these just by playing anyway. As always though, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.